Good evening, guys. It's Charlie, and welcome back to another video on the Chatting Leeds YouTube channel. Hope you've all had a great day so far. So then, guys, it's Friday night. You know what time it is. It's the pre-match thoughts video for Leeds United versus Everton that's taking place at Elland Road tomorrow afternoon. Soon, Phil Miles from All Leeds TV will be sharing his thoughts on this game as well. I asked him a few questions about his overall thoughts for this game, and he sent me his response. So stay tuned for that. But firstly, you'll be hearing my thoughts on this game, guys. So before we get into it, please smash the like button. Please subscribe and share your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. And yeah, let's get into it, guys. So Leeds versus Everton. In front of a packed out Elland Road for the first time since March 2020 and for the first time since promotion to the Premier League. It's definitely going to be an amazing occasion, and the atmosphere is just going to be electric. I can't wait for the first limbs if Leeds score a goal, which I think we definitely will. So yeah, I think obviously thoughts on the last game, we were very poor against Man United, but that's done now. We need to bounce back and we need to move on from it, and hopefully the fans will definitely get behind our boys in order to make that happen. So how I think we break Everton down, I think, is in the midfield. I think if we win the midfield battle, then we'll be very good in this game and it will be just fine. Obviously, Bielsa said that Calvin is closer to starting. For me, Calvin needs to start in this game. He's integral to how we play in terms of like winning the ball back and spreading it out to start our counter attacks. If Robin Koch is there again, then you've got to question what's going on there, like behind the scenes. I doubt there's been a fallout between Calvin and Bielsa because they idolise each other. The only other thing it could be is fitness, but he didn't play at all against Man United, and he's had an extra week's training. So for me, he should definitely start, but we'll soon find out. But yeah, I mean, whoever's there, if it is Koch, then he needs to learn a big lesson from that Man United game. Yes, maybe the calibre of midfield isn't going to be as strong as the Scum game, but they are still a really good team in that midfield. And whether it's Calvin or Koch, they're both going to have to be on their A game. I think we need to limit their set pieces as well. The likes of Calvert-Lewin, Richarlison, Mina, Godfrey, players like that. Michael Keane as well, for example, really good from set pieces. So we need to not give cheap fouls away in the opposition area. Rafinha and Harrison out wide were both gash against Man United. They need to be bang at it in this game. I think their back four is definitely there to be got at, and I think we can definitely exploit them at the back. And Pickford in an Everton shirt is not as good as Pickford in an England shirt. So if we get a decent shot from outside of the box that's on target, more than likely it is going to go in. So I would advise to shoot from distance if there's no other options. Everton players to look out for, I've briefly just mentioned them there, the likes of Calvert-Lewin, Richarlison, Andros Townsend as well, which, yeah, you can think that isn't a great signing, but in terms of getting good balls into the box, he is really good at that. The likes of Gray as well, who they signed from Leverkusen, used to be at Leicester as well. That's an all right signing as well. Alan, Decore, they have got good players, and not to discredit them, but a 3-1 win against Southampton doesn't scare me about them, if I'm honest. The goal that they conceded gives us plenty of motivation. A simple mistake at the back, allowing Armstrong in to score for Southampton. I think with our high press and our high intensity, there's a high chance that that could happen to them again. So they'll need to watch out for that. And yeah, my overall thoughts on this, guys, in terms of a score prediction, I'm gonna go 2-0. I don't think we'll concede. I think this could be Meslier's first clean sheet. If Koch plays in DM, I'm still confident we can get a result here because it's not a team like Scumad out at all. I think we can definitely beat them even with Koch at DM, but I'm praying that it is Calvin that is playing at CDM. And yeah, I won't predict the goal scorers because I always get it wrong. If Ayling could score another beauty, that'd be very much appreciated, Bill. But if not, whoever scores, I am more than happy with a 2-0 win. But any scoreline will do as long as we get the 3 points. So that's all from me in terms of my thoughts now, guys. So now I'm going to hand over to Phil Miles from All Leeds TV, who is going to share his thoughts, guys.
Things to improve on from the last game. Where the fuck do I start? What can't you really improve on from the Man United game? That's the more important question here. The whole thing was just terrible, really, to be honest. It's hard to pick out anything that was good. Even the goal we scored, in all honesty, it's a high percent XG chance. I don't think we really deserved anything from the game. A goal, a result, nothing. We were humbled, and literally any performance in the Bielsa era, no matter how bad, will probably still look better than that. So I know that's not really the most encouraging answer I could give you, but things to improve on from the last game, everything. A little bit of that responsibility for me has to go down to Bielsa himself as well. The lineup, whether that means Firpo starts or not, it's an issue that needs to be resolved. But for me, the obvious one will always be Calvin. This Leeds United team without Calvin Phillips in it, every time he's not in, pretty much every time it's not gone well. Barring maybe 1 or 2 occasions where we've won. The Villa game last year obviously sticks out. But generally speaking, we need to find something that if Calvin's not in the team, we can replace him. And if we're not going to dip into the transfer market, which I'm assuming, bearing in mind you were getting towards the end of the week now, we're not going to have a new signing in the place for starting the game at Elland Road on Saturday. We're going to have to find someone, if Calvin's not starting, to do that job properly. And I've said on All Leeds TV quite a few times, I think the last person to do a job properly in that position was Adam Forshaw 2 years ago. Obviously he was on the bench the other day, but whether he's fully fit and ready to start Premier League games is a different story. So for me, big thing, start Calvin Phillips. If Calvin doesn't start, someone needs to do that job a lot better than Robin Koch did, unfortunately, at Old Trafford, and then go from there. Everton players to be aware of and how we stop them. I think anyone that's watched Match of the Day at the weekend will sort of have the same script to be reading off, which is stop crosses and mainly stop the aerial threat that way of Dominic Calvert-Lewin. For us, obviously, I did a video that's going to be going out on All Leeds TV as well of how I think we can go about beating Everton. I talked about moving them out into wide areas. Would be counterproductive. You've got a few players that can whip a good ball in there. Luca Digne springs to mind. Pains me to say it. Andros Townsend probably as well. Limit the aerial opportunities for Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison. Obviously last season it was all about James Rodriguez. He's not playing this time, he's injured. But to be honest, I think the style's different now anyway. Aerial battles, set pieces, they're going to be the things that we need to focus on shutting out this weekend. And I'm fairly confident, in all honesty, that taking those things away, we have the players on the pitch, regardless of who starts, to be able to deal with the aerial threat of Calvert-Lewin. I think we did handle that quite well over the 2 games last season, even though obviously he did score at Elland Road. That aside, I think it's more about what we can do. I think it's how we attack and how we I think how the fans have an impact on the players, and I'm quite confident. I've been quite confident about this game since it was announced. I didn't expect too much from the Scum game, but Everton at home, first home game in front of a full Elland Road for a very long time. The first one in the Premier League for 17 years now. I expect us to win, and I expect us to put in a really good performance, especially after what happened last week. So fingers crossed that'll get through to the players. Key players for Leeds in this game, for me, like we've already said, Calvin Phillips has to start. Calvin starts, key player in the game. Calvin doesn't start, whoever's in that position, which are going on the last few games, including pre-season, is likely to be Robin Koch. The centre-backs need to do a job on Calvert-Lewin, that's a given. Rafinha wasn't great at Old Trafford. I think he was one of the worst players on the pitch, if I'm honest, but he scored home and away against Everton last season, so fingers crossed for a performance from him. Creatively, I think we have more than enough to make Everton look foolish. In general, I'm really very confident about this game. We edged one game with them last season and then were narrowly beaten in another. I'd like to think it won't be that close, but there's a chance that it might be. My head's telling me to not go quite the 4-0 that I've been predicting left, right and centre and be a bit more reserved. But I think if we get our key players like Rafinha on the ball, Calvin if he's playing, and create chances for Paddy and Jack Harrison as well, I do feel confident we can win. I do feel confident that our players can have an impact on the game. And obviously Meslier at the other end, first clean sheet of the season, would always go down a treat as well. So that's who I would say we need to focus on at the weekend from our team. The score prediction, the heart says 4-0, but the house says 2-0. So I think a win regardless. Somewhere in me thinks that we're going to respond to that Man United game by coming out and absolutely hammering Everton. I don't really rate the business they've done in the transfer window this summer, and the changeover of manager from Ancelotti to Benitez I don't think is an upgrade, but at the same time I can understand that Rafael Benitez is a very good manager who we don't really have any sort of information to go off on how him and Bielsa will do against each other because never met before. I think it's going to be interesting to see another tactical battle that we've not seen yet now with Bielsa, see how he comes out with that. But I am confident, based on the players, the squad and the coaches, that we win this game. It's at home, it's in front of fans, and I think the fans are going to absolutely inspire some players that have never played in front of Elland Road crowd before, like even Meslier, for example. Never actually started a game in front of a full Elland Road, even though he's been here a hell of a lot longer than, say, Rafinha, Rodrigo. Fingers crossed, Rafinha is the one that we'll all want to see in the flesh if he turns up. I think a full Elland Road, the atmosphere that I'm really looking forward to at the game, will inspire us into getting a win one way or another. Obviously my heart saying 4-0, the head saying maybe not. We don't tend to run riot against Everton all that often, and it was quite tight last season without too much changing in between. So, yeah, heart says 4-0, head says 2. But either way, 3 points.
So then, guys, that brings us to the end of this pre-match thoughts video for this evening. Big thanks to Phil Miles from All Leeds TV for sharing his thoughts as well. He made a lot of interesting points and a lot of points that I do agree with. I am extremely confident that whatever the scoreline is, we definitely get the 3 points here. So yeah, if you've enjoyed this video, guys, please smash the like button. Please subscribe. Share your thoughts and opinions in the comment section as well. And I will see you for my post-match reaction and match day vlog over the weekend, guys. Thank you very much.